evening, good afternoon, good morning, Fabulites. I have got questions for you. What opens with scenes of peace and harmony and tranquility, and what closes with drama? If you guessed Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 10, Episode 2, Say Yes to Distress, then you're correct. I'm Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You. Thank you so much for clicking on the video and sticking around to see how we get from opening to closing. Let us proceed. Okay, so we got Candy, this little montage. We got Candy, and she's seeing Ace and Todd off. That's her baby Ace. And then we see Sheree and Cairo. And then we see Kenya sending an email with her dogs, talking to her dog King. And then we see Cynthia getting into the tub. And then we hear Cynthia saying that she wants love in her life again. And she's excited about the possibilities. And then we're at Portia's house with Portia's new, I don't know what that is, Portia something with Lauren, with Lauren, Portia's, I don't know what that is, but anyway, dang, I can't stand that. Can't stand it. I can't stand it when I can't read my own writing. It's so distressing. Say yes to distress. Okay, but anyway, so we are Portia's house, and Lauren and Portia's niece Bailey are there, Lauren and Portia's niece Bailey come in, and then Lauren, we find out, is moving in with Portia, and Portia's telling the family about maybe her mom and her aunt were there too. I think in the beginning we were at Portia's house with Portia's mom and aunt. Okay, so then we see Portia telling her family about how upset she is about Nene's backstabbing and lying. You can dish it out, but you can't take it. Oh, that's right. She didn't lie. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Forgive me. Okay, so that's not funny. It's painful when it happened to you. And sometimes if you don't have the consciousness, you don't understand it. You know, you out there doing the same things that are happening to you, and when they happen to you, you know. But anyway, okay. So then we're at Cynthia. We have Cynthia calling a guy, and she like, I don't know if I'm at the right place. It's a staircase. I see some chickens here, and he's like, yes, you're in the right place. And the guy comes out, and he has a blindfold, and he puts the blindfold on her, and then he's like, surprise, we're doing a Photoshop shoot. And I'm like, yuck. And he's got, you know, a makeup artist there and a hairstylist there or whatever, and they're in her studio. But I'm kind of like, that's kind of like somebody, like, that's her job. I don't know if she likes to do it for fun or if she wants to work with him. And then it's like, who gave him permission? Like, she gets paid to do this. You can't just be like, surprise, you're writing a book for me for our date because you're a famous author. Maybe I don't want to, you know, maybe she don't want you. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's kind of like she ain't signed no release for you to be taking pictures of her. What are you going to use these images for? You know, I was just kind of like, I don't like it. I don't know how she felt about it. I guess he thought that would be fun for her. And then he's, you know, after the photo shoot, he's prepared a dinner for her. So they go into another room, and, you know, he put it together nicely. I thought that part was nicely put together. But we find out during this whole thing that this child is 29 years old, and we know that Cynthia is 50. And so I don't know exactly how I feel about it, because I have dealt with men who are 10 years older than me and basically 20 years older than me. And I think in theory, there's a pheasant in the backyard. I think in theory, if, you know, but I just cannot imagine myself dealing with a man who is 20 years younger than me. Like me dealing with a 25-year-old, I'm just like, I don't know. And I remember when I was dating, I had dated this one guy, and he was like, he might have been 21, but he was really young. I already told y'all this. He was really like passionate and excited, and he would like he would compose songs. He was a musician, and he would call me like 50 times a day. And I was like, it was a bit much for me. And I felt like that was the enthusiasm of youth. It was probably just his personality, but I guess because he was so young, I'm like, oh no, babe. Oh no. But anyway, I don't know how Cynthia feels about it. But what was interesting about it is that she said that she Oh, she doesn't say it now, but she said she finds out that he's 29. His name is Evan, and she said she kept thinking the whole time, well, how old is your daddy? And you got any older cousins? I'm really enjoying Cynthia's personality this season. I think she's like more relaxed into herself, and we get kind of like her funny side. She's very gracious and polished. I like Cynthia. And she's a likable woman. I like Cynthia. Okay, so then we see Sheree arriving at the Bailey agency. I thought it was the Bailey agency, but it wasn't, apparently, for Jack Daniels, who's a life coach. So they're talking about her relationship abuse situation with her ex, Mr. Whitfield. And she says she still has not talked about it with her children, about the abuse. So yeah, Coach, you're right. This is something that we do need to talk about because it's been on the TV. So yeah, it's past time to talk to them about it. So the fact that you haven't talked about them, that's like a sign of distress, I think. Say yes to distress. Okay, so then we see Kenya and Cynthia. They're walking in the park with King and Swirl. Those are Kenya's dogs. And then Cynthia is like, now Kenya has a man and I have a lake. I thought that once she and I were going to be hanging out heavy once I got to be fully officially single, but it hasn't happened. She says she hasn't been. I was officially introduced, I guess, to the man. Kenya says Chef Roble about 1 million times when she's talking about her husband, how much Chef Roble spoke highly of him, that she was at Chef Roble's, one of his restaurants, something, Chef Roble. He used to have a show on Bravo, didn't he? Okay, so then Cynthia is looking back. Cynthia says looking back, because Kenya is kind of talking about being concerned about her marriage, and Cynthia says looking back, she wishes that she had done more to protect her marriage. So that's kind of, that's insightful and that's real. I appreciated that. Then we see Candy, and she's at Doopsie's, and she's meeting up with Shamia. Oh, Doopsie's is like the African clothing type boutique. But some of the stuff, I'm like, it kind of looked ethnic, but it didn't really look anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. Okay, so we find out that Candy is going to Shamia's wedding in Africa. And I was like, in Africa where? But we find out later that it's Kenya. Okay, but anyway, Cherie shows up, and we find out that it's Kenya that they're going to. And we find out that Portia, Shamia's friend from childhood, is not going to the wedding. And I already knew, I guess last season, I'm like, well, Portia doesn't seem very friendly towards Shamia. They have known each other for a long time, but her behavior towards Shamia did not seem friendly. So I'm not exactly surprised, although I think it could be still disappointing, just the sting of the realization, But anyway, not disappointing for me because I don't really know Portia or Shamia, but I could see how Shamia could be a little disappointed or a lot disappointed. Okay, so then we see Portia in her fridge, and we find out that she's a baby vegan. She saw what the health her mom showed her, and so now she's not eating meat. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Are her mom and sister both vegans? I'm excited about this. I like this development. I have some cousins. I told y'all I went down south to Atlanta, and they saw What the Health, and they're not eating meat. I haven't seen What the Health, but I have seen some critiques of What the Health. But that's 4, 5, well, at least 3 people, 5 people I know, because my first cousin, his wife aren't eating meat. His son and his son's mother aren't eating meat, all because of What the Health. And then Portia. So that's like 5 people who, no matter how long it lasts, every day, every meal, every meatless meal, it could be progress, especially depending on how you do it. If you're doing quality, let me shut up and just go on with this review recap. But anyway, so yeah. So she's a baby vegan. And then we see Kenya looking at her wedding dress in her closet at home. And I guess once you have a wedding, like I have my wedding dress, it's kind of like, I think like a year or so after my wedding, I tried it on, but it's kind of like, then what do you do with it? And I had mine personally made to me, and it was silver, not white. So I was thinking, oh, I could use it, but I don't really go so I guess, you might as well take it out and show it on the Bravo TV, because what else are you going to do with it? I don't know. Maybe she's going to come up with something creative, but she's looking at her dress. She's missing her husband. This Kenya we're talking about, looking at her dress, missing her husband. He and his businesses are in New York City. She and her businesses are in the ATL. Brandon calls, that's her friend. We've met him a couple of times through the years. And they're talking about being in the public eye. And then Kenya is crying to the producers about haters. So, okay. So then we see Candy and Todd and Sheree, we find out, is coming over to practice how to talk to her children about abuse. And then Sheree arrives plus 3 of her friends. And I think that Candy does a really good job of modeling how to start the conversation. Like, Candy is like, I'll be you. And she's like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I was really impressed. And then she flips it over to Sheree and she's like, okay, now, let's see you. So I was really impressed with Candy. You could be a life coach, girl. You're so wise sometimes, it seems. You have a lot of... Okay, but anyway, good job, Sheree. And do the work. Do the work. Do the work, Miss Lady. I know it's tough. I can tell it's tough. That's the next door neighbor dog barking at something. His name, I call him Shep. I don't know what his name is. He's a German Shepherd. It's 2 of them. German, one I call German and one I call Shepherd. So German Shep. Shep is very talkative. Germ don't really say much. Every once in a while she'll say something. But she ain't. But Shep, he lots of conversation. Okay, so, yes, Miss Lady, Sheree, keep doing the work. I'm proud of you. I know it's tough. I can see it's tough, even through the TV. But yes, that's important work to do, Mama. Keep it up. Okay, so then we see Noel and Cynthia, and Noel is going to see her boyfriend in Charlotte. She's going to be supervised by Peter. And I was like, oh, my gosh. It was just like, but then Cynthia's like, when I was her age, I was traveling the world modeling or whatever she said. But I guess she has to let the child be free. And I'm like, I guess she trusts Peter. I was just like, so Noel graduated from high school with all A's, so that's very encouraging and exciting to hear. It lets me know that she's a relatively serious young woman. As serious as you can be at a young age. I was a very serious young woman too. I just got foolish over the years. Okay, so Cynthia, is talking to her daughter about the guy that she went on the date with, the one that we saw who did the surprise photo shoot with her. And she's like, he's, when I found out about him, Cynthia is saying, I thought he was like 31 or 32 years old, but he was 28 and he just turned 29. I'm like, girl, there ain't no difference between 28 and 32. 28, 29, 30. I guess it's 4 years. But I mean, that's basically the same age, isn't it? But I thought that was like, girl, okay. So, Noel was like, it would be more socially acceptable for me to date him than for you. And I don't know if social acceptability is like really the issue. I think the issue is, I guess, just like your comfort level and your interest level. And, I don't know. Okay, so then we see Portia and her sister in the car, and they are in transit to Shamia's wedding shower, and Portia is wearing her wedding ring from the football player. Hold on a second. This is neither here nor there, but I do love to see the pheasants. I know a pheasant is just like a kind of bird, like a pigeon or a robin or a cardinal. But it's like pheasants, they're just like, I just feel like I'm in the country, even though I'm in the city. But anyway, these dogs are just, the pheasant, it's just worrying them. Okay, so they are arriving. Oh, so I don't know if I said this already, but we find out that Portia is wearing the ring that she got from her football player husband, not on her left hand, but on her right hand. And she's wearing it as like cocktail jewelry. And she's like, it's diamonds and it's mine, because her sister is making fun of her. I thought that was funny. And I'm like, yes, you could reset it, or you could just do what you want to do with it, I guess. Shoot, it's yours. And then we're at the shower, the wedding shower with Candy and Sheree, and then Portia and her sister arrive, and Candy gets up because she don't want to. The last time she was with Portia, she accidentally hugged her, just out of habit, or, it happened, and before she knew it, she had hugged her, and she like, oh, why did I do that? I'm not talking to her. I don't like her. So she get up and leave the table. She not really rude, but she just don't want to, have much to do with Candy does not want to have much to do with Portia. And then Sheree is like, are you going to the wedding? And Portia is like, oh, I waited too late. I can't spend $10,000 on a first class ticket, and I can't go coach and sit up because of my condition. And we found out during the show that Candy spent $5,000 on her ticket. So I don't, so anyway, for her first class ticket to Kenya. Mombasa I think Mombasa is in Kenya. I don't know if the wedding is in Mombasa, but anyway. And then, so that's kind of like, there's like a whole conversation about that at the table. Eventually, when Candy comes back, her and her friend are kind of, joking about Portia's medical conditions, and basically like she go where she want to go when she want to go. She don't want to go to that girl's wedding. She need to just say, I don't want to spend that money to go to your wedding because I don't really mess with you like that. I don't know if they say it here or in the next episode, but that's basically the sentiment. Like, they don't really buy her story of her health being compromised. But everybody looks so nice and pretty in their hats and their floral and, all of that. I thought they have a game where they have these wedding shower games. And I love these wedding shower games. They have one where they put like a tissue box tied around their waist on their butt, and then there are like balls in it, and they have to twerk to get the balls out. And then they have another one where they have a hot dog hanging down, and they got to put the wiener in the hole, and they call Sheree up for that. And Sheree is like, oh, I can get the wiener in the hole. And sure enough, she does. She like, do I do it with my hands or my mouth? I'm like, well, alrighty then. I like shower games for some strange reason. I guess, I don't know why. But, so we talked about that. Then Shamia is like sitting at the table, and she's like, oh, I was just so shocked that Portia came to my dowry ceremony, which is like the Kenyan ceremony. So her husband, I don't know if they're married now, but her fiance at the time, he felt that they were already married because they had the Kenyan dowry ceremony. So I guess he gave the dowry, or she gave the dowry, whatever. We's married now according to him, but she like, well, we not married according to me till we go through. But anyway, so they talked to, she was saying, she was so surprised that Portia came to her ceremony, and she said I'm still saving a place for you at my wedding because you're supposed to be there in the wedding, and you need to figure it out. You are my childhood friend, and what's this condition? Explain it to me. I was mad, so when you sent me that text message, I didn't read it. And Portia basically feels like you're trying to front me out in front of the Candy Coated Clique, and Shamia probably is trying to front her out because she's upset that the child ain't coming to her wedding, and also upset because the child dogged her out on the TV, and also probably upset because Shamia was probably there for this child when this child got married to the football player. It's just like, it'd be a lot of dynamics. But Candy and her friend are clowning Portia. We talked about that, on the other side of the table. And Portia, she feels like she's being fronted out. Then we see Shamia and Portia arguing in the car. It's like Portia has left and Shamia followed her out to the car, and they're talking. And Shamia feels that Portia put Phaedra ahead of her, which I believe that she did. And Shamia says that she never put Candy ahead of Portia, which I believe also. And then at the end of the thing, somebody is like, biatch. And I was like, wait, who called who? I didn't quite did you catch that? Who out here calling people names? I want to know. All right. So that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, commenting, liking, subscribing, sharing, and all of those other wonderful, fabulous things that you do because you're a wonderful, fabulous person. Share it with all of your friends, family, and fabulous friends. Subscribe. Welcome back if you've been here before. Welcome if it's your first time here. Thank you for being a subscriber if you are a subscriber. Thank you for hitting the subscribe button now if you're hitting it right now. Today is the best day ever. You are the greatest. You're number one. You're the best you ever. So be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you.